with the Pove throughout the show today. We'll have college football bowls we'll talk about. We're not going to get really into the national championship. We'll have a little conversation about it. Eagles, Giants, really why the Eagles, it's more important to actually lose this game. I know you don't go out to lose a game, but as a fan, you'd rather see them lose it. We'll get into that. I know Mr. Wilson doesn't agree. And how do you feel about Duce? How would you feel about Duce being the head coach was our main topic. I just wanted to discuss it, so we got into some coaching. Now Doug Peterson, the lead candidate for the Eagles job. We haven't talked about Chip, so we'll get into that. This whole first segment is brought to you by Obie's Catering, changing the world one dish at a time. Contact Chris O'Brien, 856-534-8410. Email him catering by Obie at yahoo.com. Tell him Tom Renone sent you and the boys from Agree Disagree. You get 20% off. Gentlemen, joined by Brian Wilson, Nick Delgazzo, Rob Povia producing.
What up?
I'm Tom Arnone. If you didn't know, now you know. Get right into it. And the question was, how would you feel about Duce? Would you like Duce to be the next Eagles head coach? We put it on our Twitter page, HUDradio_com. That's how you can find it. And a lot of people voting on it right now. Now it's really more Doug Peterson, but you can get on the phone lines, 856-295-1178, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, blah, blah, blah. A2D Radio is how you can find us. Gentlemen, the Bad Boys of Sports Talk, how are you?
Tommy, Sweeps, how are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, gentlemen.
Happy New
Good to
Year.
See everybody.
The chance of Duce Staley becoming our head coach is lower than 0, just in case anyone was wondering.
I was.
Okay, sweeps.
It's a Rooney rule. That's why I brought him in.
I
didn't know if he was going to leave it there. You're just going to leave
well,
it.
No,
you're going to mic drop that?
I might mic drop that. No, well, I mean, listen, I think he earned the right to do it's good if we do due diligence, bring him in, give him an interview. He earned the right. He's been our coach for, 7 years, been a running back coach now. So, he earned the right to get an interview, but he's not going to get hired.
Yeah, I don't know what Lori's thinking.
I
have no problem with it. Former players. I think that it's a retread league, so that drives me insane. So I have no problem with a guy that, as Eagle fans, you guys probably feel different, but I have no problem with guys with no head coaching experience that have been around in the trenches. Was a tough player. Disciplined guy, great teammate, and seems to be a pretty darn assistant coach, pretty darn good assistant coach. Over these years, been around been around Andy, and so I have no problem with that. But he probably won't get it. They're probably looking to make more of a splash. I don't think Peterson's a splash either, but that's a guy that's here, familiar with the area, familiar with Lori. So that's for another discussion.
Well, when it comes to Duce, like I said, I don't have a problem with it at all. I don't think he'll get the job, but I don't have an issue with it. I like a guy, like you said, that's been in the trenches. Lori's looking for more of a player's coach now, somebody that the players respect. And if you go from a former player, a lot of times you're going to get that respect. The guy who's been here for a while. I tend to lean on the caution of bringing in former hometown players as coaches. It hasn't worked here. Has not worked here. If somebody wants to tell me when it's worked here, I'll wait and listen, because we've been through the Bowen ordeal. We've been through a lot of guys. Mo Cheeks. A lot of guys have been brought back here that were former players that haven't worked out as a head coach. So I get scared of that a little bit, because I think we automatically expect, like, Duce, right? I get scared of that. Now, do I like Duce? Yeah. Would I like him to stay on the staff? No question. But now we talk, and we segue into Doug Peterson now.
Doug the Slug.
I actually don't mind it, because he's an Andy guy. I trust in Andy. I always have. I trust in Andy guys. He's been with Andy forever, right? He's been with Andy flat out forever. So I like that. I like that he's been with Andy, and then this is a former player, and I think the best players, the best coaches in the world are them average and below average players who had to grind to get there.
You're being nice.
Doug definitely grinded.
He's a clipboard guy, so you're
Well,
definitely being nice. No,
I'm not playing Pee Wee football. It's a big boy football.
I'm sitting here in the
He's been there a
studio.
long
I'm
time.
sitting here in the studio in Burlington, so I have no problem with guys holding clipboards. But I don't know if he's a former player. That's he put a helmet on.
He's a
But
former
I know.
player.
I
He's
know.
a former player.
He played like absolute shit for us when we got McNabb that first year. But Doug. Let's be honest. Doug is what Doug is. He's been what, an assistant coach now he was our assistant coach for a little while under Andy, and then he's been assistant coach for Kansas City since Andy's been there. So I think he's O coordinator there now, right? I believe so.
Yeah, he's offensive coordinator
So
there.
Like you said, I kind of want to go a different way, but I mean, I could see Laurie. I think he's a legit candidate. Like he could actually get the job, but I don't want to hire him. I want to go a different way. I don't want to go the same way as Andy. I want to go away from it.
You want to go away. You want to go away from Andy altogether. You don't want to be any parts of Andy anymore.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't want any retreads. Can we bring a guy that's not from Philly? Huh? Maybe he's not a guy that's not going to be like, oh, let's let Roseman speak.
No, I agree with that.
Only guy that comes in and chokes Howie.
I think
the first meeting.
I think it just comes down to what you guys have been talking about for weeks, consistency. So whatever you're deciding to do, you gotta let it go. Like you gotta let it build, you gotta let it brew.
Well,
Belichick came out this week and said, "Hey, you can't just you can't build a program in a year or two. You're trying to go in the right direction, and being in a huge market and being passionate to fan base. You understand that. Hey, you're calling for this guy's head. Most people, not you guys. Not you.
I wouldn't have fired
most
Chip.
people were calling for his head, because of the season, and he was, he had total power, and stuff like that. But I think you have to have an opportunity to build something and get his guy. Well, he brought the guys in, but he's still searching for that quarterback, so to speak. That was getting a little old, but it is what it is.
But no, I wouldn't have fired Chip though.
No.
I didn't think he deserved another year. Like you said, you gotta let the guy try to build something here.
Yeah,
and
it just goes to show you. I guess that ego is pretty crazy.
So what have you done for me lately, Lig? Everyone wants to win now.
Yeah. Well, listen, I like a lot. I love Chip. I was a big believer in Chip, and I still am. That hasn't changed. So, and we talk about consistency, and I think keeping Chip, giving him an extra year, might have brought some consistency. There was a lot of drama that went along with it. So, part of me almost feels cleansed by it. It's a new start, new beginning. Maybe not as much drama as we had here in the past, but I like Doug just because I'm a believer in Andy. I'm a believer in the way Andy runs organizations, and I think for Doug to be with Andy for so long, that tends to get passed down to you. You learn from, just like Andy learned from Holmgren, and guys learn from guys. And Doug is a former quarterback. I want a former quarterback, and I'll tell you why as a former quarterback, as a coach, because at the end of the day, the quarterback position wins. And I'm not saying Doug was a good quarterback, but he probably knows how to develop a quarterback now. I'm sure he's worked with Andy and learning how to develop quarterbacks. And at the end of the day, that's what wins in this league. And we're going to have to draft one at some point. And we're going to need a coach that can relate to a quarterback. I don't like going defensive side of the football because a lot of times I feel like your offense lacks. A lot of times you don't bring the right people in. But for Doug, I think he's going to be surrounded by the right people because look at the tree that Andy's grown here. It's a big tree. There's a lot of guys that Doug can pick off that tree and give them higher jobs here. So I actually like the Doug. I don't mind the Doug. Listen, there's not many good names out there. I'll take Doug over McDermott because he's an offensive guy and he's been with Andy. McDermott got canned by Andy. I don't want a guy. Listen, at the end of the day, I trusted Andy Reid. I always have. I always will. So if it's an Andy guy, I trust in Andy. I'll give Doug a shot because maybe Doug can be a guy who's here for 5 or 6, 7, 8 years because he's a younger guy still. So maybe he has a longer shelf life. Maybe I would hope guys would relate to a former player more than a guy coming from college and on an ego trip, supposedly, to some of these players. So if Doug doesn't work as a former player, then you're out of options. Now the player's got to go, right?
Well,
so
it's
going to be interesting.
There's nothing wrong with you not wanting to, trusting what Andy did. I mean, you guys, could vouch for that. As an Eagle fan. That was the best times. That was the best years of your life. I mean, that guy. Didn't win the big one, but guess what? I mean, it built it up, and was there every year. Every year you had a shot. Whether you got it done or not, you had a shot.
Well, let me ask you guys a question.
That's all you can ask for as a fan is to be in it.
You guys don't like Doug? You don't like the Doug name?
It's not that I don't like Doug.
I'm just curious. I'm just getting a feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, I feel like he's a legit candidate. He could get the job. I would go a different way. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough. You go a different way.
Why?
What direction are you interested in going? Because we haven't talked to new head coach
I want
here.
McDaniels.
Okay.
I think McDaniels is primed to be a really good coach in this league, and I want to scoop him up.
I don't mind McDaniels at all. If you give me Peterson or McDaniels, I actually like Peterson because we have.
That's another offensive guy.
I hear you about the the offensive thing too. And I feel like if you do hire a defensive coach, you got to hire a really good offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and I'd rather go offense and let that offense guy hire a defense. Because at the end of the day, you got to outscore people in this league. We know it. Defense wins, yeah. But you got to be able to score points.
Yeah.
And if you're not scoring points, you're not winning games
No,
anyway.
absolutely.
So,
And it goes back to, like, and the defense, it's not a – Billy Davis doesn't get a pass. We know he was a hot garbage mess. But
gone.
It also went into they got some pieces on defense, and they might have been, and I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. On the field for maybe they got to be in the top 5 on the field for the most defensive snaps. All right, and that team was just get exhausted. Right, when that offense is, 12 seconds running plays, 12 seconds, then going 3 and out.
Well, we're on the field the most of any team in the league.
I would agree.
We are every year.
Without even looking at
3 years with Chip, we are. We have the most. We have the least time of possession as an offense, so we definitely have the most time of possession as a defense.
Absolutely.
On the field.
Yeah, so
I think
get worn out.
Doug's going to bring you back to West Coast offense, shorter intermediate throws, run the ball, short passes on first down of 4 or 5 yards, as considered like run plays. Listen, I'm all for it. I love the West Coast offense, always have, and for all these people out here that bitching about Chip's fast pace. Well, now you're going to get slower. Now the question is our first delay of game penalty. How do people react? Well, Chip would have never got a delay of game, right? I see it coming. I see it coming out of the woodwork. But I like Doug, and I like McDaniels. I like offensive guys. I'm a big believer. Offense wins in this league. This isn't the 80s. You need to be able to score points. And when now a quarterback is going to have to be a guy drafted at some point, I want an offensive guy around here who can develop a young quarterback. And I think McDaniels or Peterson are both good candidates for that. But I think Lurie's going to stick with guys he knows, and I know he knows Peterson. So I see that being a real good possibility.
I agree that it could be a good possibility. But I hate Lurie, so.
Oh, I'm not a fan of Jeffrey either. This guy has no business. He has no pedigree of anything of football besides getting handed a shit ton of money and then buying a football team. Now, a lot of owners are like that, but I like
and Howie's back. Howie's sticking his head back in. I'm not happy.
Well,
I'm telling you.
Well,
we're going to be the
Browns.
Browns.
Well, hold
we're
on.
Going to be the Browns.
Real quick, isn't that why?
We're going to be 10 years of futility.
Hold the hell on.
I'm not holding on.
This is why Peterson makes sense, right? Think about it. They want Roseman to be that GM essentially, right?
God.
Or Donahue, or whatever. He wants Howie to be in there. Bring Peterson. Peterson already knows already knows Howie. So that relationship's there. I see what they're doing.
Yeah,
Howie's an easy.
He probably hates Howie, like
easy
everyone.
way in. It's just a thought. I still think they're going to go out and hire a GM. I truly believe
Howie
so.
and
goes back to our
Lurie.
point. You got to have that continuity at the top.
You
They got to be on the same page. The front office, those guys that are making decisions. The head coach doesn't have to have that complete power. We saw that. That disaster. But he's got to be in there. In the war room, making decisions with him. Right there with him.
The head coach and GM have to be on the same page. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I think it goes all the way up the ladder. I mean, I think all the way starts up top and works its way down where everybody has to be on the same page. I think that the disconnect essentially from Chip and everybody above him was that maybe he didn't get along with everybody because he had his way or essentially the highway.
I'm sure he didn't because him and Howie didn't get along.
And now you
see,
the owner saying pulling the string. Now you had players going talking to the owner, all kinds of crap. Chip, Chip's out more because of the players and Howie than anything else. I think any other coach would have got another year here. I mean, look at Gus Bradley got an extension. Or not going to get fired, I mean. So he gets another year in Jacksonville. So, come on, man.
They're going the right way, though.
I didn't give Gus.
They're going the right way.
No, I understand it.
They have a quarterback.
I'm not listening.
The right way.
I understand that, but you just gave guy full control 10 months ago, and now you took it away.
No.
I told you I wouldn't have fired Chip.
Listen, we haven't talked about this
I wouldn't have fired Chip.
All I'm saying is, my issue with Jeff is you just gave full control 10 months ago. Now you need to look in the mirror and find out where you stand. So you better go get a coach that's going to be here for a long time. And long time in this league's 5 years. Okay? You need to go get a guy.
Go buy a coach like you bought your wife, Jeff. Let's go.
Yeah. Just don't get a DUI with your ex. That's all on the bridge. I mean, that's all class, right? But at the end of the day, who's your lead guy? Okay, who's your lead guy? To you, is it
McDaniels?
Is
Yeah.
it Sweeps? Who's your lead guy?
I think what's called's up there too. The O coordinator from Chicago.
I got no time for that.
People like him a lot.
Well,
Gase,
I don't.
Adam Gase.
I don't.
I mean,
but I want McDaniels.
I don't mind McDaniels. To me, I think it's time, and might not be the answer, but I know I'm tired of listening to him on Monday Night Football, so it's time for Gruden to come out of the booth. He's wearing thin on me there, but not saying he's an answer.
He loves
he's
everybody.
not the answer, or Coward's the answer. I mean, those guys got those cush TV jobs, so Who knows what they want to do.
I want to go find somebody hungry.
Yeah,
I feel like that.
I think McDaniels is going to be hungry.
Well, I agree with that.
I think he screwed up in Denver. I think he's been back. O-coordinator in New England, back under Belichick. The offense has thrived the last few years. Granted, they have Brady, But, I mean, Belichick thinks he's going to be a great coach, and I trust Bill. So, I think it's time. I think he comes out and he's a really good coach. Whoever hires him, his next job, which he'll get hired this year, he's going to be a really good coach.
No, I agree.
Just like Tommy said,
like
it's another one of those under the tree guys. That's a guy that was under Bill's wing. So there's another guy just like the Peterson idea, right?
Well, you think McDaniels? You think okay? Well, he's got, like you said, in Denver, he had his first chance, like Bill did. Didn't succeed there.
Yeah.
When you talk about Doug's never had that chance. So we don't want Doug's chance to be here and it'd be his first fail,
succeed,
right?
yeah,
we don't want to be that. So I tend to lean more to your point now with McDaniels. He's had his run. Now he went back, crawled back to Daddy. Daddy retaught. Right,
Yeah.
and hopefully you learn more from Daddy, and now Daddy can send his kid out into the world,
fed
right?
him with a bottle.
Send your kid to college and hope for the best, right? Well, now you're going to the pros, Josh, and we're going to need you. And I have no problem with it because I think there's going to be a quarterback drafted, and I think McDaniels he's not a yes man by any stretch, but I think he'll come in and I think he could work well with Howie or Donahue or whatever new GM, if there is one that comes in, which I still believe there will be a new GM in the Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, if you ask me, I'm a big Peyton guy. I like Peyton.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, like, you want to, maybe link his success to Breeze, but that goes for Belichick too.
Oh, I think Sean Payton's
I'm
a hell of a coach.
I like Peyton. So.
But
I have no problem with Sean, but I want
a good chance he stays in New Orleans.
But I want that hungry guy, Sweeps.
He's hungry.
No, but is he? The bounty's over.
He's hungry. He's hungry. Who's hungry?
Sweeps.
Who's hungry?
Sweeps, he hasn't been hungry since the bounty.
Yeah,
Since the bounty's over, he hasn't been hungry.
He finally got rid of Rob Ryan. He finally was able to, cut that 400-pound anchor that was weighing him down.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying though? The hunger,
I understand.
like a guy who maybe failed once, or a guy who's fresh into it. They're gonna have more hunger than a guy, a Cowher or a Gruden, or even a Payton that's been around for a long time. Sometimes them guys get worn out and they can't find it again. But McDaniels is a perfect example of hopefully a guy
who's hungry, who should be hungry,
who messed up and now he's hungry to go.
Oh, it's not a bad point. I don't disagree with you. It's just we're talking about pro sports, and you shouldn't, like you guys we've talked about before. If an owner's got to go in there and motivate you, you got problems, right? Check your beanbag, flick your beanbag, and see if it's still there.
Yeah.
Right?
You
shouldn't need anybody in pro sports to motivate you.
Shouldn't.
So to your point of being hungry, I understand the hungry point, but it's just come in and do your job, all right? And let's get the right guys in here underneath you, and start going in the right direction.
Well, I would think
and we reel it back in. Let's go.
When you talk about Doug and you talk about McDaniels, both I believe will bring in good personnel to surround them.
Yeah, I feel like they would,
I would assume they would surround themselves with good guys, and that's my big thing. And it's been my big thing.
Well, you see most good coaches surround themselves with good guys.
Well, I
think
where Chip's downfall is that he didn't surround himself with the best guys defensively, and I think that hurt. And I think he's sort of I don't know how much I like Pat Shermer, to be honest with you. Even though Chip calls the plays, I don't know how much I like the guys he surrounded himself with, or the players at this point either.
I told you, if I'm Pat, I come out today and I run it right down the Giants' throat.
Which makes
I
sense.
form under center, right down their throat, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, is this how we should have played all year? Maybe we should hire Pat."
Where does Chip land? Where does Chip land next?
Tennessee Titans head coach.
Probably Tennessee. I mean, if he wants, he's never going to get total
literally,
control.
he'll be
if
the
he wants
Titans
total control, he's
head
got to go back
coach.
to college.
He'll be the Titans head coach Monday.
I agree with it.
Yeah, I don't see
tomorrow. Sorry, that's tomorrow.
I don't see why not. I don't see why not. But
yeah, maybe not Monday because Malarkey will get fired tomorrow. Is that who that is, or Wisn't who's their coach?
Wisn't, he's already. No, Wisnon's already out there.
He's already gone, right?
So they interim.
They have an interim.
Malarkey's interim. So Malarkey will be gone. He won't be the head coach. They're not going to name him head coach, and Chip will be named coach probably within this week, I'd say.
But it makes sense. I mean, to your point about surrounding yourself with the right guys, and him not doing that goes back to ego too. Because if you don't believe in, like, when if you bring in good, if you bring in superstar coaches, then that outshadows you. If you're that guy with that monster ego, or your insecurities, creep to the top, and you want guys that, hey, I'll keep this guy, keep my hand on this guy right here.
Well, I think he can learn a lot. I think Chip's going to learn a lot from his first go around, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just common
sense.
sense.
Tennessee Titans are going to be really good.
Yeah, I think he would have learned. I think he could have learned.
I think Mario's a stud.
Guys, I think he could have learned stuff from this year to take into next year here, but it didn't work out that way. And now we're in a search for a new head coach. And we put on our Twitter page, you can vote for it. Would you like Duce to be next head coach? Yes, no. who cares or whatever I think it was. You can vote on that, A2D Radio _comments, how you can vote. And now you can, hop in. Would you like Doug Peterson, McDaniels, whatever, whoever you like? You're always going to like somebody, and people aren't going to like everybody. It's just the way it's going to work.
Give us a write-in. Who do you like?
You're not going to know.
Put it on our Twitter page. Who do you like? Who on our Facebook page? Who do you want as head coach?
Ooh.
Let us know.
Ooh, and Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, the whole nine, A2D Radio.
Hit us up.
That's how you can find us. On the other side, we're going to talk Eagles-Giants today at 1 o'clock, and how to win or lose. We're going to give you what's going to happen if you win and then if you lose. We're going to get down on the other side. Disagree. Only on the worldwide leader of Real Mother Talk, A2DRadio.com. And this was brought to you by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. 703 Black Horse Pike, Glendora, New Jersey. 856-939-2030 or on the web, sportsoutletinc.com. See you on the other side.
You're listening to the worldwide leader of Real Talk, A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by Romeo's Termite and Pest Control. Family owned and operated, Romeo's only employs the safest, most effective methods to rectify your situation. Whether it's at your house or at your commercial residence, no matter what the concern may be, they'll get the job done. Raccoons, squirrels, bed bugs, termites, you name it, they'll take care of it. Satisfaction guaranteed. Give them a call at 856-341-3927 or look them up on Facebook at Romeo's Pest Control or visit their website at www.romeospestcontrol.com, your local pest control provider. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by Martino Roofing. With more than 15 years of roofing experience, they have all the services that you need, whether it's new construction, tear-offs, replacements, or re-roofs for your residential or commercial business. They'll provide a detailed service in a timely and professional manner. So you can give them a call for a free consultation at 609-792-5103. Send them an email at martinoroofing@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.martinoroofingllc.com. The number again is 609-792-5103. Martino Roofing.
This is Tom Arnone, owner and founder of A2DRadio.com. What if I told you I knew the best caterer in the business? Well, I'm not going to lie to you. It's Obie's Catering. You can contact Obie's Catering at cateringbyobie@yahoo.com or give Chris O'Brien a call at 856-534-8410. From graduations to wedding rehearsals to just if you need food cooked in your house. He'll do it all. He's trying to change the world one dish at a time. That's Obie's Catering. Chris O'Brien, 856-534-8410. Tell him Tommy A from A2DRadio.com sent you, and you'll get 20% off.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're
You're listening to Bad Boys of Sports Talk Radio. Agree, disagree. Only on, you know what? A2DRadio.com.
Gentlemen, this is Agree, Disagree right here, A2DRadio.com. Tom Arnone, Brian Wilson, Nick Delgado, Rob Povia producing, and we talked about Eagles' lead candidate now, Doug Peterson. The more things I'm reading, that's what's coming out here. He's definitely a lead candidate. We talked about Duce Staley, would you like it? Talked a little bit about Chip, not a ton because, we beat it up through the week. Most people beat it up through the week, but none of us were really a fan of the firing. We thought he deserved one more year, but we move on, and Doug Peterson looks like the lead candidate, and we move even further along to Eagles-Giants, and what the implications are winning, losing this game, and that is brought to you by the Philly Sports Bar, 31 South Black Horse Pike, Runnymede, New Jersey, 856-939-4322. On the web, phillydiner.com. You can get on the phone lines, 856-295-1178. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of them. A2D Radio is how you can find us. So, Eagles-Giants today, gentlemen. What happens is, right now, we're currently locked into number 12, pick of the draft. With a loss, that you can get into the top 10. Not meaning you're going to draft a good player, but it gives you a better chance to draft a good player. Also, easier schedule. You would play the Rams in London instead of going to Seattle. I'll go to London all day over Seattle.
Little tea and crumpets.
And also, if you play a lot of young players, you can evaluate some of these guys. I need to see, and I know he's a bust right now. I need to see Marcus Smith. Good, bad, or indifferent, I need to know so I can make a decision next year if this guy's back on this football team wasting a roster spot.
I'll tell you right
Let
now.
him out there, let him play every down and see what you got.
I'll save you 3 hours. He stinks.
Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? But I need to see.
He's a bum.
Okay,
Got
that-
him.
yeah.
Great point.
I just need to see. Not just him. I need to see a lot of guys. Let Vinny Curry play on the end. Let me see what Vinny Curry can do as an end instead of you line him up as a freaking D tackle. I mean, are we serious right now? I need to see that. But bigger than that, I know you don't play to lose the game. But our job is to tell the people these are the implications. So if you are one of them guys rooting out there for a win, reel it back in.
I'm rooting for a win.
I'm not.
I think Tommy's.
No way. I did it last year, and I freaking lost 10 spots in the draft. I'm not going to let it happen.
I don't
this year.
care about the draft.
I do care about the draft because we're a bad team. So
well,
we
guess
need
what?
players.
We'll draft Marcus Smith. Who knows? We might draft Marcus Smith.
Okay,
Who
or
knows?
you draft a 10-time
Okay.
Pro Bowler, Brian. So guess
Right,
what?
Exactly. You can get him at any point.
Okay.
You never know. You never
Give
know.
me your reason for winning. Give me your good reason for winning. Carry over. That didn't happen last year.
No,
So let me hear
the
it.
bottom line is, okay, there's no reason to talk about it because the guys aren't going to go out to lose.
Who said
you're
that?
on the
Who
field
said
to
that?
win.
Who said they're going to go out to lose? Did I say that?
No, but I'm
Did
saying,
I
why
say
are we
that?
even talking about it? Because they're not going to go
Because
out to
these
lose.
are facts. These are real talk, Brian. Real talk. It's what we do.
Yeah,
these
and
are facts.
this is real talk. They're not going to go out to lose.
Who said
they're
they
not
are?
going to coach to lose.
When did I say they're going to coach or
No,
play to lose?
I'm not saying you did.
As
But I'm
a
saying there's no
fan-
reason to say, "Oh, we need to lose this game."
Why
They're
not?
not going to go out to do that.
Who said that? I still root for
I
a
think,
loss.
I think yeah, you can. I think we're going to win the game though.
That's fine. You can
We
feel
usually
that
play
way.
good in the Giants. I wouldn't
I
be
don't like your
surprised.
stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close game.
That's fine.
No,
I care less.
no, it
Close,
will be. It
win,
should be.
lose. It doesn't matter.
I think Tommy C's done.
Game's
so
irrelevant.
They're looking to carry him off on their shoulders. It's Tommy C's done. So
it's done.
I think,
Lose.
I think he's out of here. So they're looking to.
All right, that's fine. Lose. I don't care.
Lose. I want a top 10
Win.
pick.
I don't care. I don't care.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't care.
How are you going to come on here and say you just don't care either way? So you'd rather get maybe the 18th pick and go to Seattle, or get a top 10 pick and go play the Rams in London. I'd rather get a player. We need players. Okay. You for
Could
your
be
own
Mar- could be Marcus
confidence,
Smith.
for you and your own confidence, your own watching
Could
the
be
game
Marcus Smith.
that you want to win. Okay,
Could
that's
be
great.
Marcus Smith.
Okay, but we need players.
Could be Marcus.
It could be.
Smith.
And it could be a 10-time Pro Bowler.
It could be Mark. Could be a 10-time Pro Bowler at 18.
Now you got it all figured out. Yeah, I mean you just got it all figured out. You're
Ed
you're
Reed-
unreal.
Ed Reed was
You're unbelievable.
18th
I can't even
pick.
deal with you. I can't even deal with you. You're impossible to talk
Ed
to. me
Reed
about
was the
it.
18th
You're
pick.
impossible to talk
Ed Reed
to.
was the 18th pick.
Okay, I would like to get a better chance of getting a good player. I'm not saying you're going.
You don't
to.
have a better chance.
You do have a better chance.
It's
That makes no
irrelevant.
sense. Now all of
The
a sudden
first
you have a
round
better
pick
chance.
is all about your coach making a good pick. Unless you have the top 5 pick, everyone from there on, they go anywhere.
So you rather open the checkbook? You're a checkbook guy.
I don't give a shit about losing or winning this game. Really. I don't.
Okay, I'm not saying you should give a shit.
I'm just saying I'm not out here like we need to lose this game. I don't care.
I think it will benefit us more to lose.
Maybe. You never know. Maybe Seattle stinks next year. Maybe Russell Wilson gets
I'm
hurt.
not
You
saying
don't
about
know.
Seattle stink. I'm talking about the player.
Well,
I care less about that. I care about the player.
You
I
said
need a
I'd
player.
rather go to Seattle. You're telling me I don't want to go to London.
All
I
right,
don't want to play a game in London next year. Are you kidding me?
You're listening.
You want to go to London?
It's a great road trip.
No, it's not.
It's better than Seattle.
We're gonna watch them on
Can you hold on?
No, I
Agree,
don't have to
disagree.
hold on.
HUDRadio.com
It's
with
on
Paul.
HUDRadio.com,
15
if you're wondering.
seconds. Station identification.
You're listening to A2D Radio. A2D Radio. A2D Radio. At A2DRadio.com.
Well, then come across the damn table, then.
I will.
I mean, I'm waiting for you.
Oh, I will.
Swing on by.
Oh, I will.
You know, the come on here, smug. You're like
Dude,
Chip.
London.
You're like a Chip
London.
press
Are
conference.
you kidding me?
You're like a
You
Chip
want to
press
go to
conference.
London?
You're like
We're gonna have to stream it on friggin' YouTube or some shit. Yahoo, whatever the hell they did with that
I
one
want
game.
the player.
I don't want to go to London.
I want the player.
What? Are you guaranteeing that the 11th pick's going to be better than the 18th? No, you have no idea.
I don't know, but it's a better chance.
Yeah, that's not true.
Okay. It's not true. You don't have a better chance.
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
All right. Sweeps. We heard from him.
Oh, man. It's tough to follow that.
Well, he's a problem, so it's not tough to follow.
Tough to follow that.
We got to get him back at
That
night.
verbal
He's
brawl.
nothing but a problem in the morning.
I'm not a problem at all.
He's
fine.
he's
I'm
unhappy.
fine.
He's hungover. There's a lot of issues with him in the morning, and we got to get him back to night crawling.
I'm
like he
not
does.
unhappy
Right, like
or
the movie
hungover.
Nightcrawler.
I'm a little
Freaking
hungover. I'm
creep.
not unhappy, though.
Creep.
That's a weird movie. That movie
I know, it's
Nightcrawler.
creepy.
Really creepy movie.
Don't watch it.
He makes it. I tell you what, he puts a good performance on.
No
That's
question.
a creepy film.
Creepy.
Listen, both of you
You
have
don't want
valid,
that guy living
both of
next
you
door.
have very valid points. I understand what you're saying, and we always talk.
I know what he's
saying,
saying.
and I understand. He makes
I don't
a great
understand
point
where Tom
too.
says
He
ever.
makes a great point. I mean, to me, the draft unless you're, in the top 10, it's all after that. I mean, the first round guys, right? So I guess I shouldn't just say that, but I know what he's saying. But if you got a first round pick, yeah, sure, you'd like to be up closer, sure, why not? You know what I mean? But from 6 picks. You're talking about what could be the difference in 6 picks.
Well, sweeps is
That
important.
You couldn't trade up.
You don't have a second.
Yeah.
You don't have a second right now. You're 2/3. So
you don't want to miss. You got
Listen, at this point,
you got to lock in and hit it.
let me lock him in on a comment he said earlier on this show, okay? This is agree, disagree. Just throw that in there. Bad Boy Sports Talk. So we will argue. You don't like it, tune in somewhere else. Real quick, about you. You said we're going to be, and just let me get this out. You said we're going to be the Cleveland Browns for the next 10 years.
We might be.
Okay. My way of trying to avoid that is getting a player.
Well, guess what? We have Roseman and Lori.
I know who we have.
There's not a lot of avoiding
Damn
going to
it.
happen here.
Sometimes this girl finds a nut, Brian. Christ.
I don't know. They do.
Allow for the nut.
Well, I mean, 6. If you're trying to avoid what he said, 6 spots in the draft isn't going to do that. You got more problems. You're walking around with one leg when you, and you're trying to, you're worried about other
Tap
stuff. If
dancing.
that's what you're saying.
I care about a player. We need
No,
players.
listen.
Players win.
Okay, I'm with you on that, but who are we getting?
I don't know. Maybe an offensive
We
tackle.
need an offensive
Okay,
tackle.
but a better chance of getting a big boy is
we
getting
ain't
up
getting
higher.
Laramie Tunsil.
Okay,
So-
he's not gonna be the only guy.
He's the guy though.
Listen, all I'm saying is to be up higher gives you more opportunities to maybe make some moves if you need to. Maybe get a second round pick and drop 5 spots and get a second round pick. So there's options out there the higher you go. That's all I'm saying. I'm looking at options because in April we're going to be talking about this game if we won. God damn it, what are we doing? Because there's a player that you're going to want or you're going to want or I'm going to want that's up in that top 10 that we're going to want to get, right? So all I'm trying to avoid is for us in a goddamn April to be sitting on these airways freaking talking about this goddamn game that we went out and won that was meaningless. Meaningless to us. To a player,
I think these
get
guys.
it.
I think these guys are going to want to come out and play. And
I
show
get
like, hey,
it. I get it. To a player, you do. But I rooted for this team all year to win. They never won. So now I want to root for them to lose. Watch what happens. They
They're
come out and
gonna
roll
win.
job today. Right? Bradford throws 6 TDs. Now he's coming back. It could turn into a problem.
I'm telling you, DeMarco runs for $150 today.
I wish I'm fine
I
to see.
think it comes down to
He's
personnel.
under contract.
It comes down to nobody's going to play to lose. But like you said, it comes down to playing the younger guys or playing guys
Well,
that
you
aren't
can
in that
play- you
roles.
can play
because
guys
it's the
that seem
same thing. It's the
different
same
roles.
to me. It's the same thing with the Sixers. You brought in Ish Smith and he's playing fantastic. Hello. We don't need that right now.
No,
you know
no,
what I
no,
mean?
you don't.
The guy's got 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4 games. We're 2-2 with this cat. Like
Which is on
let's-
fire.
Let's
Well,
let's
that's
knock that.
why-
Let's knock that off. You know what I mean?
That's
so,
why I crack up when I see the good old Jay Seaberger's post about why is Ish Smith not in the game. We don't want him in the game.
No.
We don't want to win.
I told you,
these
let's
games.
come up with a fake IR. Let's go, Ish. We need you to take 60 days off. All right, talk to you
He
next
broke
year,
his
buddy.
kneecap.
Yeah, talk to you next
We'll see
year.
you in May.
We'll pay you.
We'll put you on an island.
When it
No
comes
problem.
next
Get you out.
October, here's the ball. Next October, let's go with you and Ben Simmons. Let's go to work.
No, I agree. I agree.
Ben went nuts last night too.
Did he?
No, he did. 36, like 14.
He's
got
a
like the
monster.
fourth.
He's
Monster.
unbelievable.
He's got 3 of the top 4 scoring performances in the year.
But that's all I'm really trying to
Yeah,
say
no,
is that now you get a chance for higher
Absolutely.
pick. You can make some moves. You can maybe get another
I
second round pick.
understand where you're coming
And a
from,
position,
but I like to attack you a little
No,
bit.
I know.
And-
And I'm going to attack right back because I
and-
love it.
and-
but in the
but I
position
just
you're
think-
in, you need players. A coach can only do so much unless there's players around the coach still, right? We've seen this. Chip's a smart guy. He didn't become dumb overnight. What happened is his players, his talent wasn't good enough to win.
Yeah, I think our talent's decent.
No,
on
ask
the
the
team.
locker room. The locker room will tell you that if we
No.
had more talent, this offense would roll people.
No, I
But we
understand
didn't.
that. I'm saying defensively.
Ask
I feel
inside the locker room. That's what
I
they
feel
say.
a lot of our defensive issues were we run the wrong system defensively. So I feel like we have talent defensively, but it didn't shine this year.
Yeah, I mean, is the
Well, that's how you have
NFL
the
is the NFL
4-3.
smart? I mean, football's football to us, but was the NFL smart? I don't know. I think the verdict's still out.
Well, see,
You know
now
what
with Doug,
You know what I
real
mean?
quick, with Doug, you're going to get a 4-3. Okay? Let's write that down. With Doug, 4-3. With McDaniels, you
Might
could
be
be
3-4,
3-4.
but guess what? New England always has a good D. So if he wants to kind of implement what New England does, because I love how they take away your best option and make you beat him with someone else. I
do.
love how they do
They
that.
do, and every team should do that, but not enough teams do.
I know. It's crazy.
Listen,
You
it
know,
helps having the greatest quarterback ever. You know, it all
It
helps
does.
the process.
It does.
That's what scares me.
But the thing is, they haven't even had any guys to go with him recently.
Yeah, but I seen Doug get Kansas City offensively better throughout the year.
22.
Yeah, but he's still
22 offensively.
Yeah, but look who he's working with.
22.
But look, best player gone for the
They
year,
got
right?
They have a superstar wide receiver, which we don't have.
Listen, best player gone for the year, and they
Maybe
still
have
find
they
ways
have
to win
a-
games.
Haven't
They have
had-
a Pro Bowl tight end. They got a Pro Bowl wide receiver, and they have a number 1 overall pick quarterback.
Haven't-
Okay, well, he's not.
Did not have a wide
He was
receiver
number 1
touchdown.
overall pick.
Stop,
Was he not?
Brian.
not
I
have
know
a
who
wide
he
receiver.
was. Damn it.
Did
I
not-
know who he is.
Did not have a wide
And-
receiver touchdown until he got there. I mean, Macklin,
Yeah.
he made
Macklin's
No,
a
but-
player.
I give a guy who's done, say, not as much but with less than a guy who's been able to do it with the greatest of all time. That's all my point is.
All right.
There's
I'm
a
just-
difference.
I like McDaniels more. That's all.
I'm not saying.
You didn't make case. Dog, make case for
What is
McDaniels.
the point? It's what we do. I'm going to make case for both. I could go either way. I'm not stuck on.
I don't
on either side. I don't
dislike
care.
Doug, okay, but I don't know. I want to move away from the Andy regime, and I loved Andy too. Don't get me wrong. I think he was great here, but I don't know. I want to bring in I want to rejuvenate this franchise with some new faces. God, I don't want to friggin'
If you're an Eagle fan or any fan, all you want is a guy that's A, going to get after it, but B is going to be able to make adjustments on the fly. You understand? Adapt to his personnel. All right. Now, we talked about it. Why would you play a 3-4? If that's your initial thing, that's fine. But make some adjustments. You got guys that put their hand in the in the dirt.
Yeah, go
All
get
right?
people.
Make some
yeah.
make some adjustments there. Offensively, we understand it's the 3rd year. All right, it started to get stale. Like they got 300-pound linemen running up and down the field. That's not going to cut it. You understand? And I'm not defending those guys, but it's 2015. I know we live in a soft society, but those guys are 300-pound linemen. Who wants to? They don't want to run it. They're exhausted. They got to block a guy that's the best in the world at his position. On any given Sunday. Speed wise, strength guys. Speed and strength. And they're running up and down, trying to get a playoff in 12 seconds. I mean, they're exhausted. And we talked about the defense. All right, being on the number of snaps is ungodly. Defensive snaps. There's talent there on that defense, and there's a reason why. Take Billy Davis out and the scheme, take him out. We know him. There's no more beating him up anymore. All right, there's talent on that defense, and there's a reason, like you said weeks ago, why they kept they were good early, and then they progressively got worse and worse as the season. They wore down.
They definitely wore down. And like I said, if it's McDaniels, if it's Peterson, either or I'm okay with. My concern with McDaniels, my only concern is when you have Brady, you can do stuff that you can't do with some quarterbacks. Okay? And as long as he realizes that, which you would assume he does, that whoever you get isn't going to be Tom. Okay? And maybe you do get Tom in a draft. I don't know. But most likely you're not getting Tom. So you got to realize and cater your offense to a quarterback who isn't him. okay, who's not as smart as him. And that's my concern there. With Doug, Doug's running an offense where their best player got hurt, dumped for the year, Jamal Charles, all right? Alex Smith can't throw the ball over 20 yards, all right? So he's got to work with less. My point is, and they've been successful winning-wise with less. And I think Andy – you want to get away from Andy, and I sort of want to go back in a way towards Andy because Andy's a winner. And Andy brought in a culture here, and I hope Doug can bring in that same culture. And that's all I'm looking for, Brian. Maybe McDaniels does, or maybe he's smug just like Bill, and we end up running him out of town. My point is with Doug is he's familiar with the city. He knows how important it is to win here, and maybe if he's coming in for a job, he probably most likely can handle it, and he's going to get a lot of feedback from Andy that can be helpful. That's all I'm saying. And the Andy tree has won. The Andy tree wins. Look at the Andy tree. Them guys win. Them guys have won. Look at Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera built a program.
None of them have won a Super Bowl.
My point is that Ron Rivera went out and built a program.
None of them have won a Super Bowl.
Oh, and what Bill disciples
have they won?
have?
What have they won?
What Bill disciples?
What have they won?
What Bill disciples?
What have they won?
Give me Bill disciples. Go ahead.
Harbaugh won a Super Bowl, but go ahead.
Well, Harbaugh wasn't an Andy guy. He was here before Andy.
Oh, John was an Andy guy.
Special teams guy.
Oh, okay, special teams coach. Yeah, but I thought he was. Oh, whatever.
But all them coaches went on to be successful. Maybe not winning a championship, successful.
I thought he was
all
here
New
when Rhodes
England,
was here.
all New England coaches have gone on to fail miserably. Most of them.
Oh, Bill
Bill
Bright.
they're not good. They're okay.
No, I agree.
He's done great with nothing, quarterback wise.
I give Bill O'Brien.
But my point is,
absolutely.
most of them,
Romeo
Cornell.
Yeah, we went to the Browns though. I don't count guys that go to the Browns.
My point is, a lot of them have failed. So that's my concern. A lot of the Andy disciples have been successful or built a successful program for the most part. And I trust more in Andy. I know Andy. I got trust for Andy.
But a lot of those guys aren't really Andy disciples. They're really Holmgren disciples.
No, Ron Rivera is not a Holmgren disciple.
No, Ron Rivera is Andy.
Andy, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
I
Rivera,
go like
Harbaugh.
guys.
I'm talking about Andy's tree, not the tree Andy came from.
Okay.
Andy's tree, because Holmgren had a tree, Gruden.
Yeah.
He had a
loaded tree.
Loaded tree. My point is, Andy's got a good tree. So I'm willing to climb the tree, right? So get in here. I'm willing to climb the tree for that apple.
You picking apples
right?
off
I'm ready to climb the tree.
It's a golden delicious.
I don't know enough about Doug.
Smith.
I don't know enough about Doug to say he's the answer, but I'm going to take my loyalty into my father, my former father,
Andy.
Andy.
I mean, he's letting him run O coordinator, which
Andy don't do that. Andy don't do that.
He's got a lot of trust in him.
Andy don't do that. We know that. Andy likes clipboards.
Absolutely.
Right? Andy, big fan of clipboards. But listen, I'm not saying I'm a big fan of Doug or McDaniels because we don't know about either
My
or.
problem with
right?
Doug is I remember watching him on the field being like, this freaking guy can't throw the football.
No, but guess what? Them kind of guys can teach a guy how to throw a football, right?
We
Get in
always
here
say
again,
that.
Sleepy.
We always
That's
say
2 in a row.
We always say that.
The
Seriously.
worst catchers of all time make the best coaches.
The best coaches are the guys that had to grind to get there. That could just get by, just got there.
A lot of arm care for Doug. You know what I mean? Went through a lot of
absolutely. A lot of looking good.
And
a lot of hairbrushes in his back pocket, in his girdle.
Let me make this plug for a good arm care program. Call Scanzano Sports Center, 856-889-3434. That's an easy plug right there for arm care.
Good segue. Absolutely.
Yeah, easy. But back to arm care. And Doug, Doug had to work. And he's a former player. Josh isn't a former player. I think why he's a lead candidate for Jeffrey Lurie is simply because he's a former player and he's an Andy
played here.
Tree.
He knows he coached here.
Yes.
Jeff loves that kind of shit.
But Eagles-Giants, we got away.
But again,
from,
I hate Jeff though.
We got away from Eagles-Giants.
Well,
we
went into it.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Eagles-Giants at all.
I'm going to watch the game, but
no question.
I'll be honest with you, I'm probably going to watch a lot of Red Zone. I don't really care who wins this game. I don't really care about the game. I wouldn't mind seeing us play well, but I mean, what does it matter? It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter at all.
It matters whether we go to London or not. And I don't want to go to London, I'll be honest with you. Win the game, screw it.
Win the game. Listen.
Not much of a traveler, huh, big fella?
Who wants to go to London? First off, I'm not going to London anyway, okay? The food sucks. You're not seeing me in London. There's some hot girls I follow.
Fish and chips.
But besides that, the food's awful. I just don't want to watch them at 9 a.m. next year on friggin' Yahoo.
Well,
there you go.
On Yahoo. No, I know you don't.
Yahoo.
I understand that. But listen, let us know who you want. I mean, if it's Peterson, if it's Daniels, if it's somebody else, get on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everything. A2D Radio is how you can find us. You can also call us, 856-295-1178. On the other side, we're going to talk some college football bowls, right? Get into the bowl games that we picked here, and we'll give you the leader in the clubhouse right now, and then we'll move on from there.
I don't really want to talk about how I did.
A lot of fun stuff coming up there. This has been brought to you by Martino Roofing. More than 15 years of roofing experience, proudly serving Sewell, New Jersey, as well as Pennsylvania, Delaware, and the South Jersey area. 609-792-5103. On the web, martinoroofingllc.com. Agree or disagree? The Bad Boys of Sports Talk right here, a2dradio.com. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the worldwide leader of real talk, a2dradio.com.
This is Tom Arnone, owner and operator of A2DRadio.com and host of Agree to Disagree. If I want to go check out a ball game, there's no better place than the Philly Sports Bar located 31 South Black Horse Pike in Runnymede, New Jersey. With over 40 plasma and HD TVs, a brick oven, a 2-story deck, the sports bar has surpassed everyone's expectations. From the one-of-a-kind sports memorabilia to life-size sports figures, the bar stays true to its name. The Philly Sports Bar will provide quality service along with outstanding variety of the finest liquors and well-known beers in a family-friendly environment while remaining true to what they are, the best darn sports bar. That's the Philly Sports Bar, located in Runnymede, New Jersey.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey guys, Rob Hovia here from Fantasy Dominance Now and the Hockey Happy Hour with a quick question. Are you in need of a professional home improvement? Then contact Harry's Contracting, 609-638-6336. That's 609-638-6336. No job too big, no job too small. The owner, Harry Ernst, is a fully licensed general contractor. Tile work, bathroom and kitchen remodeling, and just about everything else. No matter what you need, Harry will leave your home looking as beautiful as ever. Harry's Contracting offers free estimates, and if you mention A2D Radio during the estimate, Harry will give you 15% off the quote. Give him the job, tack on another 5% for a total of 20% savings off his already insane low prices. So contact Harry's Contracting today, 609-638-6336, or email harryscontractingimprovements@gmail.com. Harry's Contracting, insane home improvements.
You're listening to Bad Boys of Sports Talk Radio. Agree, disagree. Only on, you know what? A2DRadio.com.
You know what it is. Agree, disagree. A2DRadio.com. The Bad Boys of Sports Talk on the worldwide leader, whatever the hell we want to talk about. Gentlemen, we dive into now some college bowl games. We talked about Eagles head coaching search, Duce Staley, Doug Peterson, Josh McDaniels. We went over all of them. We got into why I want the Eagles to actually lose this game, why Brian Wilson wants him to win and why Sweeps agrees with me because he's a smarter guy than Wilson is. So that's easy. And we dive into college bowl games, which is brought to you by Harry's Contracting. For professional home improvement, give Harry Ernst a call, 609-638-6336, or email him, harryscontractingimprovements@gmail.com. So dive into it, Sweeps. Where do we stand? We did some picks before the bowl started. Where are we at?
Me and you, 27 wins. Big fella settled on 15. I think he was trying to go opposite of a lot of games.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
not going to completely, shatter dreams here on the airways, but I think he was.
I would.
I think he was trying to mix things up here.
I won some stuff. I won some games last night. I'm pretty happy with myself.
But yeah, both of us have 27. Crazy that it came down to that. The whole, that whole picking in the same game early on. That came back in the.
Well, the only reason he tied it up though is TCU come back from 31-0 down.
Tommy would be the sole winner at 28 right now had they not blown a 31-point lead.
I can't believe.
So we'll just we'll pick the title game and go from there.
So we'll pick the title game next week.
Yeah.
We can do it.
It doesn't go to the 11th.
It
doesn't go to the 11th. So we'll talk about that
Monday.
later. Let's talk about the SEC real quick. We know Tommy's a monster, monster SEC
Proof
guy.
of the pudding. Go ahead.
Well, exactly. That's my point. Was it favorable matchups or did they flex their muscles? They set a record by winning 8 games by a single conference in a bowl season.
It's a minor league. It's a minor league NFL farm system, is what the SEC is.
Yeah,
it's a minor league
I still don't think they were
system.
that good this year, but I guess the other one else was just down.
No, I agree.
I don't know. I mean, the
I
SEC,
agreed with Will, so I thought they were down too.
Well,
the
they just beat up on them.
did flex its muscles, though. I mean, nothing else you can really say. They flexed their muscles all right.
That's why I'm a big believer in drafting guys out of the SEC too. I just feel like they're one step ahead a lot of times. I love the SEC, always have, and for a while now, and I just think it's a farm system for the National Football League. But in terms of, I think
some of the matchups were garbage, but I agree with you.
Yeah, some of the matchups are garbage, but looking long term in terms of the 14 playoff, I think it's got to be more. I think you got to get to 6, 8. You got to get it up a little bit because
at least 8.
Because right now, you got teams that should have been in there.
Ohio State, Stanford.
Ohio State drops
twice.
the ball against Michigan State,
exactly.
and then Michigan State hops in. They have no right playing Alabama. Stop it.
And Oklahoma shouldn't have been in.
No, seriously,
and Oklahoma shouldn't have been in.
Ohio State ruined it for us because we would have had a better game if Ohio State just beats. If they can take care of business and beat Michigan State and get into that game, it's a better game because Ohio State is the only team that can play with them. I think. The only other team, I think Clemson can play with them.
Yeah, I think the two best teams are playing right now, and Ohio State's right underneath them as the next best team.
Yeah.
But Clemson did their job all year. You say what you want about the ACC. That's they did it. They were undefeated. They did their job.
I guess you could say they have the model to beat Alabama. They have the running quarterback that can still throw the ball well. That's usually how they've lost the last couple times. They've lost both times to Ole Miss.
Ohio State.
Ohio State with Cardale last year.
Yeah.
And I mean that's how you can beat them, and they have it. So will Clemson show up? We'll see. I mean Alabama's defense, obviously, they showed some stuff out against Michigan State. Man, wow. Dominated that game.
You can't
dominated that. The D-line dominated that.
Oh,
game.
You're absolutely right. You can't be a fifth-year starter or whatever he is and throw a pick right before the half. Can't do it. Can't do it in a 10-0 game.
That's an awful ball.
Can't do it. You understand? It's got if you're going to get 3 there, worst case scenario, and who knows if the kicker makes it? I don't know, but that's got to at least be 10-3 going in.
Well,
you just can't.
That's why Ohio State's different than most of the Big Ten. I mean, I think Urban Meyer's done a great job recruiting all over the place, and I think he's done a great job recruiting speed and realizing speed wins like he did in Florida. I mean, that's a model of the SEC. Ohio State is the model of the SEC into the Big Ten. They're not the usual Big Ten power football, power run type team. They are, but they can hit you anywhere. I mean, so they're different. They're different than that model. You're not going to have Connor Cook. I mean, Barrett can sling it. They got 5 quarterbacks that are better than Connor Cook. Really?
And the Big Ten,
right? They probably got a redshirt freshman who can sling it better than Connor Cook.
Well, Connor Cook's going to go higher in the draft.
Well, because there's nobody out there. That's why.
I know. I'm just saying.
He's not. He's not
agree with that
special.
Because I was a Lynch guy at their show.
Paxton Lynch stinks.
Oh,
there is nobody
goodness
out there.
gracious, yeah, that's a terrible core.
That's
right?
why
Goff helped himself.
I was making fun of Hackenberg.
Goff helped himself.
Well, Goff might be
going against Air Force. They were going against Air Force, but he showed some things. He showed
the only team that needs a QB in the first round. I mean, who who was going to be. Maybe Houston, and that's probably where he goes. I think. But I think Goff will be the first one off the board, Jared Goff.
Well, look at
But
Hackenberg leaving and not even
Hackenberg
thanking his coach. How about that?
Hackenberg
Thank
leaves.
everybody
but
his coach.
Move.
I think
Smart
he's a
move for him
crumb.
to leave because it's
That's
a
the world-
bad,
that's the
bad
world we
QB
live in.
draft.
No, it's the best time for him to leave. Yeah,
that's-
but I think he stinks.
That's the world we live
He is.
in.
He's
You know,
a
it's
crumb.
2015.
He's a crumb bum.
It's 2015, so of course he wouldn't thank his coach
God
because
forbid.
it's the system, and you can't make a 10-yard pass.
Yeah.
So blame it on the system,
That's what it's
dummy. Right? You're an idiot.
Pussification of America.
Absolutely.
As Brian Wilson
sure,
likes
blame
to
it on
say.
Franklin. We know Franklin's a dope. Right? He got the job because he did a little. He was in the SEC and he
recruiter,
and he turned Vanderbilt around from garbage to a little bit above garbage.
You
You
want to know who you need to
understand?
look out for next year?
Right, but
you want to know what team in the college
You're
football you
gonna
need to
diss
look
them
out
like
for
that?
next year? What team in college football you need to look out for next year? The
same team
Tennessee
every year.
Volunteers
They're not
are loaded, and they lost some real close games in the SEC
Yeah, no,
with a young
absolutely.
team.
Absolutely.
Watch out, Bama, because Tennessee's legit.
Yeah,
I watched that
was
whole
my-
game. They are
that-
legit.
Oh, yeah,
They're
me too.
physical.
That was
they're
my
fast.
worst. That was my worst pick of the bowl
Tennessee
of the bowl job.
Tennessee
Picking
rolled
Northwestern. Yeah, they rolled.
somebody.
Yeah, Northwestern.
They're loaded,
I'll
and
tell you what.
they're young. Everybody's back.
The
Dobbs-
I'll tell you one thing
Dobbs
about
and
the
the running back.
Dobbs,
I'll tell you one
yeah.
thing about the
Great.
Big Ten. Besides Ohio
They
State, when
stink.
the Big Ten got shelled in these games. Freaking Iowa, why'd you even show up? Because
Seriously.
Stanford put a beating on
And Michigan
Iowa.
and Harbaugh almost brought in. He's Big Ten style too. He's pound the football, let your quarterback just get the job
Well,
done.
Michigan-
So he fits that profile. Michigan, Harbaugh's going to
Harbaugh's a
bring
really
Michigan
good
back.
coach. He's
There's
a
no
really
question.
good. Oh
there.
yeah, they'll be back.
There's no question.
He's a really good coach.
And they really are. And Michigan State's not even playing that title game if it's not for the blunder either.
Yeah,
so it goes twofold. Ohio State would be playing for it even if they lost to Michigan State.
It's got to be
Maybe.
18. It's got to be 8 teams. But how much would you love to see Stanford, Bama? Just for the simple fact, let me see McCaffrey.
Yeah,
let me
dude,
see
that kid
McCaffrey.
is a
Let me see
monster.
McCaffrey against those monsters because that guy is so electric. And
about
we talked
pedigree,
about
right?
it. Yeah, I know. Right, Mom was a great athlete too.
Mom,
It was
uncle,
incredible.
cousins, dad, obviously,
But
Easy
just to
Ed,
see that,
Easy Ed McCaff.
that's
in the stands.
First
saw
down,
him?
Eddie.
Did you see him in the stands?
Oh yeah, still looks good.
Real good.
Ready
Real
to go.
good.
Yeah,
Real good.
first off, he could catch some balls for the birds.
Yeah, he's
today.
ready to go.
How
right
deep?
now.
How deep are they? Stanford running back wise.
And Barry
They go
don't
from
even play.
McCaffrey. They go to Barry Sanders.
Barry don't even play.
They don't even play.
He just gets like one carry and he goes.
He's
for
a pup
20.
too. If you give
Goes
him
for
20, he'll make some moves too. He can play too. They're loaded at running back. Loaded. They're going to be a good team next year too.
McCaffrey's filthy.
It's going to hurt losing their QB. Don't be surprised if
That's
he
not a bad name either. I
Hogan.
mean, I'm not saying he's
Third
not
rounder,
going anywhere.
fourth?
No. I'm sorry, Shaw. There's a good. I like Shaw too. I'm not saying he's not going anywhere.
No,
I'm just saying,
but
that
Hogan's
guy's got
probably
some
like a fourth round pick. I could say.
David Shaw.
He
that's-
played
that's a
40
good name.
years
It's not a bad
in a
name.
pro style offense.
Yeah.
You know, I could see teams falling in love with him a little bit. He's not bad. He got better, but he's got weapons. I mean, look what McCaffrey does one-on-one to a linebacker. It's dirty.
Oh, it's
I mean,
bad.
it's dirty. Nobody covers
It's
him.
bad.
I mean,
And he's only going to get bigger and stronger.
he almost guarantees a kick return.
Oh, he's
Every
unbelievable.
game.
Unbelievable.
You know, it's a punt, and I went upstairs. They were
I
punting.
took a piss and they scored. I
Exactly.
said, what the hell?
They were punting. I went upstairs. I come down. My dad goes, "Yeah, you missed it."
It's unbelievable, this
That's
kid.
amazing.
Unbelievable. They're
Well,
going to
first play of the game.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
78,
75, yeah.
78
Well,
on
you
a
know,
on
mismatch.
slant.
I don't know
See ya.
Stanford's incoming quarterbacks or who they have on their roster right now, and it's a shame. Hopefully they have somebody good because they got talent to play. They could be a top 4 team next year because of this kid and what he can do to people. And because the Pac-12,
And they always usually have a pretty solid defense.
Soft. Did you guys watch the 30 for 30 on USC, the rise and fall? Did you guys get a chance to watch
saw
that
that
one?
one, yeah.
Good one.
That's a
I
good
enjoyed
one.
it.
No, I
It's a
didn't.
good
I
one.
enjoyed
I
it.
love 30s.
A lot of
and
30 for
30s.
30s.
I love
They're
30s.
always good.
I
Always
love
good.
30s for 30s.
Always good one. Did you see that one, Rob? Did you get a chance to see that 30 for 30?
was on
I
my-
did. It's fabulous.
Great one.
Yeah,
Pete
I
Carroll, I'm
gotta
not a
get-
big
I gotta
fan
go
of,
back
but
No, he's a scrub.
it was just you forget like how good they really were,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, they were
Lendell
loaded.
White,
They were
Lendell White
loaded.
will run
As
you
I was,
over.
as I was passing my TV, I saw the Reggie Bush bonehead play.
Yeah,
and the title game, he flipped it,
But
flipped it to a
but
guy
you
that's
see what he
never
did-
played.
Did you see what he did his senior year in high school in the title game? He did the same thing,
Same
and it got
exact thing.
and it got caught for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So you're reacting to stuff you're used to
Oh,
doing,
yeah.
it, and you think you can get away with.
but
it.
you
He's flipping
can't
it
do
to the
that.
water
Right,
boy.
no, you can't do it. But you know the guy you flipped it to, yeah,
The
never.
water boy.
For only time on the field the whole game. That's your flip. It couldn't be it can be the Dwayne Jarrett. You know what I mean? You're flipping to number 89. Some
know.
little white kid
I know,
about
as
5'8",
Oh, sure.
5'8", $160, soaking wet.
Oh, I'm sure there was a cartoon. I'm sure that if there was a cartoon bubble right above his helmet saying, "Oh no, not him!" as he let it go out of his head, not you.
No, the best is the kid that was the ball getting flipped to him. He was going, no.
It's crazy.
But that was a
Oh,
good bowl.
man.
It was a good bowl season, and You know,
It wasn't bad. I mean,
No.
once they expand to 8, it's going to be a lot
You know
more
what?
fun.
Yeah, I think
There was
they
a lot
have
of
to.
blowouts.
They have to. No, yeah.
Yeah,
New Year's
a
Day was
lot of
disgusting.
blowouts.
Yeah.
A lot of blowouts. Like,
Yesterday
and
got
you know
better.
what? They got awful ratings. The playoffs got bad ratings. Way better last year because New Year's Eve.
The
It'll
New
be-
Year's
it'll
Six.
be on New Year's
the
Day.
New Year's Six was
next year.
garbage. New Year's Six was
It'll
terrible.
be on New Year's Day
Terrible.
next year.
I won them on that.
The two playoff games got much lower ratings this year than last year, and it's because they were New Year's Eve. What are you
people
doing?
are getting shit
Why
bugged.
are you on New Year's
There's
Eve?
somebody in the corner, trying to get their mister touched, and they're hammered. You understand? Like it's got to be New
Well, you know
Year's
what they
Day.
got to realize? They got to
New
realize
Year's
this isn't the NFL.
Yeah.
That's what they need to realize. NFL, you can pull something like that and get away with it. Okay, at 4 and 8 o'clock.
Well,
In
it's not
college
even-
football, listen, in college football, besides that group, that fan base, they're going to check in. But everybody else, probably not. Most likely when you see in the ratings. If you pull an NFL move like that, you're going to get the viewers because the NFL draws it in.
Well, New Year's Day is the prime day because
It
everyone's
is.
hungover from New Year's Eve. Besides the guys out mumming, who's not watching it?
No,
Everyone's
absolutely.
watching it.
And you go to those major cities, and there's it's millions of people waiting for that ball to drop. So nobody's in front of a TV.
No.
The only way I watched it was because I was stuck at work on New Year's Eve. So, of course, I'm going to tune into the bowl games in my downtime. But if I'm out partying or setting up to go partying, it's the last thing I'm going to do is watch it. Why don't you throw the shit bowl games on New Year's Eve and then put the playoff games
Well, that's
on
what
New
it
Year's
used to be.
Day?
It used to
Well,
be like the
that's-
Peach Bowl. It used to be, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl or whatever. It used to be a couple there.
Well, the way these kids are getting in trouble, I think they try to play it on New Year's Eve to keep them out of a little trouble. Right? I mean, as much trouble as these
Did you
kids
watch
get into,
Boykin punch the
unbelievable.
cop
It's an
Yeah,
absolute,
on
it's-
TMZ? I
it's
watched
crazy.
it.
absolute
crazy.
disgrace. Absolute disgrace. And
What
that's
an-
why,
what an idiot.
besides
How much money is causing
besides
Probably a
people,
lot.
besides people having money on that and the absolute collapse, I was loving everything about it because he was 31-0. He was probably giggling like, see, they need me. And then, what a terrible moron teammate he is. Sneaks out after curfew on a Thursday. You're there to play football. You can party your whole life. That's what I tell these kids all the time. You can party anytime.
Yeah.
Right? You're there for a reason. Just absolute. It's not about being a kid. It's about being a pig.
Irresponsible.
Yeah, it's about being a selfish pig.
And you know what you do? You're hurting. Even though they won the game, you're hurting your teammates who worked all year for this.
And it's
you're a
one
piece
thing-
of shit.
Yeah, it's one thing you
And,
want to
not,
sneak out.
and you ruined your future because everyone's gonna look at that. No one's gonna. You're a fringe NFL quarterback because of your size and because you run around too much. Just bottom line. You're a fringe NFL quarterback, in my opinion, Javon Boykin, and now you probably just ruined that.
Yeah, I mean it's one
No
thing.
one's
It's one
taking
thing
you
you want to, it's one thing you want to sneak out for a little taste of the meat drapes, or something like that. But this guy goes out and gets in a fight and then attacks a cop
And then punches the
You know
cop
what I
in
mean?
the face.
Like you get caught sneaking back in, maybe they sit you a quarter. But this guy made an absolute embarrassed the university, embarrassed himself, and got arrested. Come on.
I actually watched the video.
It's a Christian university,
They're like,
too.
the bouncers are throwing him out.
Checkmate. Checkmate.
The bouncers are literally throwing him out, and he punches the one bouncer in the face, and they throw him out, and then these bike cops pull up, and it looks like they're just trying to move them along, and he flies back in the picture and punches the bike cop in the face. What are you doing?
Well, bigger than that, with your right hand,
What are you
cuz?
doing?
With your throwing hand?
Not regular
What
time.
are you doing?
Wait, haven't you ever seen Bull Durham? You never punch a drunk idiot with your pitching hand?
Oh my God.
All right.
What are you gonna
On the other side, we'll have 5 questions with the Pope to wrap up today's show. This has been brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountant. Give them a call, 215-369-3300 on the web, gibsonmayer.com. Agree, disagree. Bad Boys of Sports Talk. We'll be right back. Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real Talk, A2DRadio.com.
This is Head, your dude with the tunes from A to Z Classic Rock. When I'm hungry and in the mood for pizza or a killer sandwich, I head to Legends Tap, located at 318 High Street, Burlington, New Jersey. Pleasant atmosphere, delicious pizza, kickin' sandwiches, great iced tea, soda, or if you prefer an adult beverage, they have that also. 318 High Street, Burlington, New Jersey. Legends Tap, the best pizza this side of the Delaware.
Hey, if you're interested in buying, selling, or renting a house, call Kingsgate Realty at 856-931-1200. Ask for Patrick Bokikio or visit their website at kingsgatere.com, located at 57 West Kings Highway, Mount Ephraim, New Jersey.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet, located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. With over 40 years of customer experience giving the latest in uniforms and equipment to sports enthusiasts of baseball, softball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, and much more. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or send them an email at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit their website at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all of your sporting needs.
You're listening to Bad Boys of Sports Talk Radio. Agree, disagree. Only on, you know what? A2DRadio.com.
Hello. Agree, disagree. HUDRadio.com, the Bad Boys of Sports Talk. We move in to the 5 questions with the Pope, but before that, you could have voted on our Twitter page, and you still can, HUDRadio_com. Would you want Duce Staley to be the next coach for the Eagles? Now, Peterson comes out, obviously, but you can still vote on it. And I think right now it's like 33%. 33% said yes, 39% said no, and I think 30-something% said who cares.
33% said yes. Get a clue.
33% said yes. And that is locked in. And that is brought to you by Scanzano Sports.
Poor voting.
856
because I know we didn't go too much NFL today.
Yeah, and the Twitter poll was brought to you by Scanzano Sports. 856-889-3434. ScanzanoSports.com is how you can find it. But the 5 question with the Pove is brought to you by Romeo's Termite and Pest Control, your local pest control provider, family-owned and operated business. 856-341-3927 or on the web, romeospestcontrol.com. Go ahead, Mr. Pove. Take it away.
Well, I'll bring it back to the NFL for you all. And I know you talked about in the beginning of the show what you would do if you were Jeffrey Lurie. You know, I know you stated that you would have given – Brian said you would have given him one more year. He wouldn't have fired him.
I wouldn't have fired him.
Right. So I'm not going to go back to that question. I'm going to ask that question. I'm going to go right into what is the one glaring problem to correct this offseason for the Eagles?
Structure. Organizational structure. You know, getting that in place, getting that right. I think that's the first key before you do anything. So that's where I start.
You start up top. So, yeah, I agree with you on that, Tom. I'll go with you. If you want to go player-wise, what do I think you need to address? Offensive line.
First. Yeah, I think you go there first. Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
Absolutely. No, it starts at the top, like you said. It's, you got to get that foundation right, and then then you can go start checking those boxes off. O-line number 1, absolutely number 1. Wide receiver, big time playmaker. Or, it doesn't have to be big time, but they need
what's his name will be available?
They need a veteran wide receiver.
Alshon will be available, and I'd love Alshon Jeffrey in the Eagles uniform.
That's huge.
He'll be available.
Oh, I like it too. I'd
love him. And he's the guy you throw the ball to. Third down, you're throwing the ball. Guess what? He's not going to drop it.
Yeah.
You would hope not.
Yeah.
Question 2?
You never know.
He's got to stay healthy.
Well, Sweeps alluded to it before. The championship game, college football, January 11th. I know you guys wanted to say predictions for next week's show, but I want to know. Who do you got? You don't have to get into it deep. You can say that for next week.
Clemson.
Who you got?
Clemson.
Oh.
Bama.
Heart is Clemson. I'm a Dabo guy. I love him, but Bama wins.
I'd love to see Clemson win just because I hate Nick Saban.
Yeah, I agree. thousand fold right there.
Bastard Nick Saban.
I will be wearing orange.
I think Bama's going to win that game.
I will have orange on all day Monday, January 11th, but I think Bama wins. And that defense is they're grown men.
Yeah, man, their D-line can really play.
Got it. All right, I'm going to shift over to baseball. There was a good article put out there on this year's Hall of Fame pool. It's going to include Ken Griffey Jr., Jim Nebbins, Billy Wagner as first ballots. Are there any first ballot Hall of Famers out of these or any ones I didn't mention?
Griffey.
Well, Griffey is
Of
no
course.
doubt.
Yeah, that's a no.
And
that's
you
a
know
no-no.
what? I was juggling this. I read an article the other day talking about how the one guy's going to start voting for Clemens and Bonds. And then you know what? I would too. I would. I think Clemens and Bonds deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I think they're Hall of Famers. I think they probably used performance-enhancing drugs, but they were Hall of Famers before it. And I'd vote for Clemens and Bonds. I don't know if I'd vote for Sosa, but I'd vote for Clemens and Bonds.
Agreed on them too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any question there. It's just we've talked about it all the time. Like, at what point do you separate it and say, hey,
seriously, they're all
these guys
doing
were these guys were slippery scumbags, or what did they do on the field? And I understand one affected the other, but they were tremendous players when they look like Big Pens.
Tremendous. Clemens as a rookie, tremendous. Bonds in Pittsburgh, tremendous.
All it takes is one writer.
And McGuire hit 49 as a rookie too.
Yeah.
Guys, all it takes is one big writer to start voting for them, and it trickles down. So once the
Yeah.
first guy says, hey, I'm going to vote for him.
It's the same
it's
way.
a really good article, actually.
Dude,
I might send it to you guys.
That's a tremendous
really
point.
good article.
And I segue into
You don't want to be the first.
No,
so
I
whoever
segue
breaks
in,
it,
I just want to segue into my Christmas lights the same way, because Christine's like, hey, we're the only I think there's another house on the block. We're the only other house on the block with the lights on still. I said, I don't care. You think I'm worried about other people? I'm going a weekend. I go a week into January. You understand? I don't need nobody to tell me when to take my lights
keep it
down.
rolling. You keep it rolling how long you want.
Let's
get it down in January at some point.
I was going to say, I tell you what, you start moving into February, you got issues.
You're a
Oh,
problem.
absolutely.
Lights down.
Then I'm a crumb.
Then you're
lazy.
Then
crumb.
you turn into
You're lazy at that.
you turn into the guy who leaves them up all year and just doesn't turn them on. You're like, all right, dude, take them down.
Yeah.
We get it. Take them down.
No,
Trying to make it easy yourself on the 20th, putting them up. You leave them up all year.
Wednesday I got
Nobody likes that guy.
Wednesday I got a date with the lights.
If that guy's listening right now, a guy like that who leaves decorations up all year,
Call it.
jump off a bridge. And call in as you're jumping. We'll talk you down.
I want you to
jump.
call in. I want you to
No,
call
in mid-jump, I want the call.
Yeah.
Like, have us ready. As you jump, hit go, and let us know how your way, how hard the water hits.
Piggyback.
Please pencil, too. Pencil your way in, too.
Yes.
Safety. Break every kneecap. Go ahead.
Piggybacking on Brian's point with Bonds and Clemens, does Mike Piazza finally get in this year?
Yeah, he's got to get in at some point. Wow.
I think he will.
Yeah, he's close.
Because there's not many great names this year. Like,
Especially catching.
Yeah, I don't think he – and I don't – oh, sorry, but
I think
You're
his
good.
different position helps. I think being a catcher helps.
I think Griffey's definitely getting in.
Oh, no question.
Right? I mean, it's not even a question.
Right.
But then, like,
Greatest.
who else is right
Great.
there? Like,
Great.
what's his name? Just missed, right? I don't even know. There's like an older guy that's missed a couple
Bagwell.
times,
I think
barely.
Bagpipes was close, right? But I think
Bagwell
he's
was
still
decently close.
He's still in that lump. That's what they're doing.
a
They're
sauce-
lumping him in. I don't
sauce
think.
junk. He's
I don't
sauce
think
junkie,
Piazza.
yeah.
I don't think Piazza ever got. Was he ever in that thing? I mean, it was just from the same era. Like, I don't think anybody ever.
There were
ever-
accusations.
There's
No
accusations,
question.
yeah, but I don't think he's just in that pot.
Right.
He's just in that that sloppy
He's
pot.
a Mets guy. He wants.
But
to
I
be
mean,
on
I've heard
the
Al
team.
Leiter tell.
He
I
wants it,
told
man.
guys.
He's from Pennsylvania. Come on.
Oh, I tell guys all the
I like
time.
pizza.
I just
I
told
like the fact that he was a low. I mean, my bad. Let me cut you off. Well, I like the fact he was a low round pick. He had to work to get there.
No,
he was
no,
like a, what, like a
absolutely.
50
Nothing
something
a
round
needle
pick.
don't help.
70.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I've heard, and Al Leiter tells that story all the time about the
What,
about the
bend
hand
over,
squeeze.
Mike? Oh, sorry.
No. He was always the last guy to go in spring training with the hand diameter because he broke it. I mean, there's a guy you don't want to shake hands with that guy.
No.
So I mean, the guy always had it. He just if he did something, I don't know.
He's close, though. He's close to getting
Yeah,
there.
I think he's going to be
But
close.
he's a Hall of Famer. Come on.
Next question. Last question, right?
Philadelphia, and I got two. One will be really quick, though. Philadelphia 76ers general manager Sam Hinkie's reputation with player agents is beginning to steer players away from joining this team, according to a recent article by Keith Pompey of the Philadelphia Inquirer. True story? And could this rep steer Ben?
Tell Keith to keep. Sorry to cut you off.
No
Because
problem.
I can help you. Tell Keith to keep his freaking mouth shut. He has no clue when it's not even free agency time what agents and players think of Sam Hinkie. I mean, get a freaking clue. I know there's not a lot to write about Genius, but that is the dumbest. It just makes no sense. He has no inside
I
source.
kind of believe him.
I don't believe it one bit. Listen,
I told
believe
you
it
I
one
don't
bit.
like Hinkie.
Okay,
so.
you don't have to like Hinkie. I don't believe right now that you can say when the dude hasn't even tried to sign anybody that players won't come here and
Well, I'll
agents
tell
don't
you
want to
what.
deal with
Because
them. Will you stop it?
money
I'll tell you
talks.
what's-
Money
Stop
I'll
it.
tell you
Dude,
what's
the
not
almighty
good.
dollar, it always speaks.
What's not good is I heard some reports last night that friggin' Okafor's dad has been at games just harassing Brett Brown, and like to the point where Okafor had to Jaleel had to tell him to stop. Tell his dad to stop, which means I don't know. I don't like that.
No, I
First
saw
off,
Sticks.
First off,
Sticks
keep your
posted that. I saw
friggin'
it.
mouth shut, okay?
Absolutely.
First off. And second off, I don't like that one bit for the way that we need to, the way it need to go, because we need Jaleel to be a stud. I don't like that one bit.
All right, next one.
All right, wrap it up. Happy New Year's, gentlemen. That's what I didn't
Oh,
even
of
say
course.
that.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
What's your New Year's Eve tradition or favorite spot to watch the ball drop, etc.? Go on with it.
I care less.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
New Year's
I mean, I'm
my
a
New Year's
dad.
Eve tradition usually involves a few
Spirits.
spirits, if you will, I guess. Yeah, I like to have a few drinks. Maybe have a nice pepperoni bread or something. Nice, get something to eat. A few drinks, maybe multiple drinks after that, even more after that. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, even prior to being being parents, we just we always went to dinner and then just came back and then watched it and had a couple adult beverages in our own house.
Well,
it's just the worst night for me. It's the worst night to travel. It's
And
amateur.
it's-
It's amateur
it's
hour.
amateur
It's
hour
amateur
as a
hour.
hard-
Feeling my
Right.
shit.
It's amateur hour.
Unbelievable.
Guys
Unbelievable.
throwing up all over the place off
unbelievable.
balconies.
You don't go to the bar on New Year's Eve, all right? And you don't
No.
in the house is good. I like it in the house. You watch the ball drop.
Whenever you're ready, let me get
Oh,
involved.
okay.
Love
my
to have
bad.
you.
All right.
Thanks.
Sorry, Miami.
No, I don't. The sweatshirt's irrelevant, Syracuse. Okay.
Great switcher.
At the end of the day, I care less. I want to stay in, like you said, amateur hour. Exactly what I was going to say.
It
I'd
is
rather stay in the confines of my own home and enjoy it. But besides that, great show today, guys. Awesome job for Brian Wilson, Nick Delgaza, Rob Povey producing. I'm Tom Arnone. Today's show was brought to you by Legends Tap, best pizza this side of Delaware, 318 High Street in Burlington, New Jersey, 609-386-3001, or follow them on Facebook at Legends Tap.
And Chip Kelly.
If the Titans lose, they get number one pick and Chip Kelly. It's been a great disagree. A2DRadio.com, the Bad Boys of Sports Talk on the Worldwide Leader, whatever the hell we want to talk about. See you soon.
Later.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real talk, A2DRadio.com.